What's up, guys? So in this lesson, we'll be looking at diminished 7 arpeggios. Now, this is a very powerful arpeggio. It works in a lot of cases and it sounds amazing. All right. We're going to learn how to use the diminished 7 chord, run it into an arpeggio, fit it into your play, and change your sound pretty much. If this is your first time here, this is Piano with Kingsley, where we aim to help you excel on the piano with ease. So by all means, to follow us, subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, don't miss any of the videos that I post weekly. All right, let's get right into the lesson. All right, so just as a quick recap on the diminished 7 chord. Now, a diminished 7 chord, if you know this already, that's very important because you need to know the diminished 7 in order to be able to run the arpeggios, right? So a diminished 7 is basically, you can say either a diminished chord with a sixth added on top, or the formula is 1, flat 3, flat 5, 6. Okay, so that's a C diminished 7. Okay, 1, flat 3, flat 5, and 6. Okay, this is the 3. If you take the major chord, that's 1, 3, 5. So you flatten the 3, you flatten the 5, and then you add a 6 on top. That's a diminished 7. Okay, so if we do this for F diminished 7, that's an F major chord. If you flatten the 3 and the 5, you get an F diminished chord. If you add a 6 on top, you get a diminished 7. Okay, let's do the same thing for G. This is a G major chord, flat 3, flat 5, 6. That's a 5, so that was a 6. You go through the scale. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Excellent. So now there's one trick about diminished chord. I'll go through quickly. Now, there are pretty much only 3 diminished chords, even though there are 12 notes on the keyboard, right? So C diminished chord, F diminished 7, and the G diminished 7 as well. Now, each note in the chord, if you invert the same chord, you get the diminished of the other. So if I bring the C to the top, it becomes an E flat diminished 7. If I take the E flat, take it to the top, it becomes an F sharp diminished 7. If I take the F sharp to the top, it becomes an A diminished 7. So this means that this C diminished 7 can function as a C diminished 7, an E flat diminished 7, an F sharp diminished 7, and an A diminished 7. Okay? Same way the F diminished 7 functions as 4, right? So F diminished 7, A flat diminished 7, B diminished 7, and a D diminished 7. Okay, and then the G diminished 7 also functions as 4 diminished 7 chords, right? So G diminished 7, B flat diminished 7, C sharp diminished 7, and the E diminished 7. Okay, so 4, 4, 4, that makes the 12. So this means that if you know an arpeggio for a C diminished 7, you can use it for all the other 4. It's fine. Okay, you don't need to learn all of them in the different positions. You can learn one and it's perfect for all the 4. Excellent. So the first arpeggio we'll do is, obviously this is already 4 notes, so it makes it even easier, right? So we'll do a one-handed arpeggio with the 4 notes up the scale, right? So we'll take it slow. We'll start with the C diminished 7. Okay, so you use this fingering. It works better for me. 1, 2, 3, and 5. All right. So let's try that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. Okay. Hold your pedal down and then. Now take it slow in the beginning, right? Sorry. Now we'll come to the application very soon, so you appreciate how to really use it, right? And then So try that a few times, get it under your fingertips. It's more difficult doing this for like the E flat diminished 7, for example. Well, I've been playing it for a while, so maybe it's a bit easier for me, but if you try it, you see that the C diminished. See how fast I can run this C diminished chord. And it's because of how easy it is, because of the 2 white keys here. If I go into the E flat diminished, my fingers are locked within the blacks. So by just knowing the C diminished, I can just use it for all the other 3, right? Okay, great. So let's try the F diminished 7 chord. So same thing, right? I'm going to use. Great. So, but and also actually for this F diminished as well, if you make it a D diminished by bringing the D to the bottom, it's still as easy as the F diminished as well. So if you use the pedal, okay. So by practicing it slow, it might get as fast as that, all right? So the last one, the G diminished 7. It looks exactly like the C diminished 7, right? The shapes are similar. See that? C, G, right? Excellent. Now, how are we going to use this? Okay. In the next video, we will look at the 200 arpeggio for the diminished chord, right? So how are we going to use this? The diminished chord is so powerful because pretty much diminished chords lead you chromatically to any of the diatonic chords, right? I can use this, let's say F sharp diminished 7 chord to lead me to the G. Now, for the sake of ease and how your ears will be really happy with it, for now I'm going to ask you to use the diminished 7 chord to lead you to the minor chords. It's a lot easier. So we're going to use the diminished 7 to lead us to a 6 or a 2 chord. Okay, so and how do we do this? So basically what you're going to do is just consider the chord you are going to lead to. Now if I'm going to lead to an A minor chord, I'm going to pick the notes a semitone below the A minor chord. So a semitone below the A minor, S, A flat. And then I need to play a diminished chord with the A flat as a member, okay? Well, obviously A flat diminished 7. But if the fingering for A flat diminished 7 is difficult for me, as we said, you could use the easy one, which is, which one? F, right? So that's what we're going to do. We are going to just, before we hit the A minor chord, we're going to play the F diminished 7 or the A flat diminished 7 if you want, which is a semitone below the A minor. Run it, and then hit the A minor chord. So let's try that. So you're going to play like, okay, let's try and see how it sounds like. So popular chord progression. So now after the G, we'll do that, right? Beautiful, isn't it? So I use that to lead me easily to the A minor chord. Let's say we had let's say we have a progression like an a 6 4 2 5. Okay, so 6, then 4. Now we're about to move to the D minor. Okay, now a little quiz or exercise for you. A D minor chord, which diminished 7 can you use to lead to a D minor? So first step, you ask yourself which note is a semitone below the D. And the semitone below the D is C sharp. So a C sharp diminished 7 chord will lead you nicely to a D minor. Easily. So like a... See that I played a C sharp diminished chord and it led me there. So it's like, you know, it's something that works all the time, right? But for the sake of the diminished arpeggios, it might be difficult running a 100 arpeggio with a C sharp diminished 7. So what do? We look for the corresponding out of C, F, or G. So we see that G is a member of the C sharp diminished 7. So I'm going to run a G diminished 7 and use it to land on the D minor. Okay. So sometimes what you can do is look for a connecting note. So if you play this, you can play this inversion of the 2 chord, the D minor chord, right? Or yeah, that also works nicely, right? D minor, same D minor. So look for an inversion that links nicely with your diminished 7 chord. So let's try that. So yeah, let's try one more time. See that? So I am using the F diminished 7 to lead me to the A minor, and I'm using the G diminished 7 to lead me to the D minor. Okay, so let's try one more time. Okay. Alright, then. So while you're running the right hand, you can just hold a single note in your left hand. Okay. Try this. I know the lesson has been a little bit long, but it's a lot of things we can do with the diminished 7 chord. In the next lesson, I'm going to show you the 200 version of the diminished 7 chord, and you'll be able to play that and, you know, have fun all over the keyboard. All right, so just you know, obviously try this in as many keys as you want. Pick chord progressions with some minor chords in there, and just before you hit the minor chord, play a diminished 7 of a note a semitone below. If that note is a bit difficult to play, just look for the other notes, whether there's a C, F, or G in there, and use that diminished 7 because it's a lot easier with a one-handed arpeggio. This is the summary of the whole thing. I hope you liked the lesson. If so, hit this like button, and don't forget to share this video to bless your friends out there as well. I'll see you in the next lesson.